Hi, I'm Chris Steyerwalt, and this, in fact, must be Power Play. Hi, Internet. How are you? Okay, so the Democratic nominating process, I will you to care about it because it's actually kind of interesting, and it is potentially portentous for the fall campaign, depending on what the Republicans do. But anyway, this week the the Democrats had a primary in Wisconsin, and Bernie Sanders was forecast to win narrowly, and he won by a lot, like a lot. And what does that mean for Hillary Clinton? What does that mean going forward? The contests are on a hiatus again till New York votes on the 19th of April. And what's going to happen? And does it mean anything? People who know what things mean include Mark Alderman, who is making his maiden voyage on Power Play. He is the chairman of Cozen O'Connor Public Strategies. He is a Democratic strategist, as seems befitting, formerly of the Obama-Biden presidential transition team, raised money for the Obama campaign, and raised money for the Democratic National Committee. So I'd say your bona fides are beyond doubt as a Democrat. Doug Heye.
I don't have bona fides as a Democrat.
No, he has zero bona fides as a Democrat. Doug Heye is former House. I'm going to read it exactly as it was written and prepared for me, and I think it's quite apt. Former House, Senate, RNC campaign flack.
Okay.
And Harvard Institute of Politics fellow. He's a Wall Street Journal contributor. Those things are true. He is a Republican. He is a Tar Heels fan. So please have mercy upon him. Okay, I want.
He did the Villanova thing.
Mark, starting with you.
Go Nova.
Hillary Clinton is her hand, so the panic button is here, and her hand is like 3 inches over it. She's watching this. No, because here's why. She's got a problem. And the problem is her voters aren't feeling the urgency. She's going to win. This is a boat race. It doesn't matter. Bernie Sanders voters feel urgency. They're turning out to vote. The reason that they beat the pre-election poll in Wisconsin by so much, his people turned out, her people didn't.
Well, let's take them one at a time.
Okay.
Not a race. If you want to see a horse race, go to the Kentucky Derby on May 7. This is done. She has won. However, Bernie's not going away. He's got a lot more M&Ms than she does. He has money, message, millennials, momentum, and that's a problem. She has a problem, and she's going to have to deal with it.
So how do you, if you're Hillary Clinton, you got the New York primary coming up, she cannot lose her home state. She must not lose her home state that she represented in the Senate, where she lives, even though Bernie's from Brooklyn. She cannot lose her home state. But if she pulls the cord and says, we've got a problem, then she shifts a narrative that says Hillary's in trouble.
Yeah, I think one of the big challenges they face is to admit they have a problem, but not to overly admit or overcorrect to the problem. Look, New York should be very good for Hillary Clinton. She ran very smartly in 2000 and in 2006. She shunned a lot of national media, focusing in on local media throughout the state. So obviously she has a high name ID because she's Hillary Clinton. She's a high name ID everywhere. But people throughout New York really know her.
And like her.
And like her.
Yep.
Now, meanwhile, I think what we're seeing with Bernie Sanders is he's running into some choppy waters there. Bernie has had, I think, the real benefit of not a lot of scrutiny so far in this campaign. You look at the New York Daily News and their front page yesterday following the interview that they did with him. Bernie Sanders is going to get a lot of incoming, and how he reacts to that is going to be pretty important. It also, but just by default, helps the Clinton campaign.
So on the Democratic side, we're seeing something of the same argument that we see on the Republican side is populists, progressive populists say this is unjust. There are 712 superdelegates. They're thwarting the will of the people. Bernie is winning races, and Hillary is on an over streak, and why should these superdelegates tip it in Bernie's favor? I know that it's not going to change governors and senators and these important people's minds about the electability, but is it a message that resonates with the Democratic base?
We have to be fair to the arithmetic here, okay? Hillary Clinton has 2.5 million more votes than Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton will end the campaign with 250, maybe 300 more delegates than Bernie Sanders. Yes, it
pledged
requires...
delegates, not supers?
Pledged delegates. Yes, it requires some supers to get the math to work, to get to a majority. But this is not being handed to Secretary Clinton by the superdelegates. Indeed, we now have it upside down. where Bernie is talking about making a case to the superdelegates to follow the will of the voters in their states, where in Idaho, 6% participated in the caucuses. So,
and there's only like 8 Democrats anyway. So
I was going to say not a lot of superdelegates from Boise.
Doug, when you watch the Democratic race unfold, how much of a pass are the Democrats getting on their infighting because of the fact that the Republicans are roasting each other's livers on spits over campfires?
I think they're getting a massive pass, and Hillary Clinton's obviously large vulnerabilities somewhat get ignored because we're following the latest Trump outrage du jour day after day. That's also just the reality of the world that we're in. And would it be nice if Hillary Clinton got some tougher questions in interviews? Sure. But until Republicans straighten their house in order, it's hard for us to really throw a lot of stones at the Democrats' house. And by that, I mean also just going after Hillary Clinton and pivoting to the general election.
And the outrage du jour is a vegetarian split pea that is quite tasty. Gentlemen, we thank you for your tasty analysis. And you, Internet, we thank you for all that you do to keep America weird. And we hope that you come back for more Power Play real soon.